Hello, welcome to Guanyin practice. Today we are returning to our regularly scheduled devotions. So we're going to be reading aloud the prayer for Guanyin by Patricia Monahan that we're working with this month, the praise for Guanyin by the late Patricia Monahan, foremother of Goddess spirituality in the United States. She focused largely on Celtic spirituality. That was her background, but and goddesses, but she was very well researched in a lot of different areas, and she was a brilliant creatrix. So we are honoring her today, Patricia Monahan, and honoring her every day this month. Good morning, Cherie. Um, and we are going to be continuing to work with her prayer for the rest of this month. I want to just give everyone a heads up. This Friday, I won't be on because I've got to make a drive that morning. And then next week, I will be on when I can, but I've got to do some caregiving. And so I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be like every day, but I will try to be on when I can. And oh, hi, Raquel. Hello. Good morning. Sending you love too. All right. So let's get into it with praise for Guanyin. Her mind is virtue perfected. Her body is wisdom perfected. Her face is bathed in holy light. She is compassion itself. Her orchid heart delights in mercy. No matter what evils we face, no matter what beasts or demons, no matter what ill fortune or disease, no matter, even if we face death, Guanyin destroys them all with her compassionate glance, with her perfected soul. She is infinitely blessed. Let us bow to her in prayer. If I were adrift upon the ocean with demons and dragons all around, I would think of sweet Guanyin, and the hungry waters would subside. If I were trapped within a furnace as hot as hell's own blazes, I would think of Guanyin's power, and the flames would turn to water. If enemies pursued me, if I were thrown from a high mountain peak, if knives were raised against me, if I were imprisoned or beset by beasts, I would call on her. Her pity shields me from the lightning. Her compassion is like a cloud around me, which rains down sweetness and puts out the fires of my sorrow. Her very name is powerful as thunder on the ocean. Call it often. Pray to her often, for there is none like her in this world. And today we have the turquoise lotus mother. Turquoise lotus mother brings precious healing to you now. Allow yourself to be lifted out of your struggle, beloved one. An old pattern is finally in its death throes, something that weighed heavily on you from your past. This can be one of the most testing times to allow something to go, just when it seems to be so demanding of your time, focus, and attention. Yet do not doubt. You have actually learned the lessons it required of you, and now you are being blessed with an opportunity to receive karmic healing. There are some lessons in our spiritual process that cut right to the core of our being, that challenge us so deeply that even as we learn the lessons and practice the wisdom, we can still struggle to outgrow the grip of the pattern. No matter how hard we try, we might not feel that we're ever going to be able to completely release the challenge. And no matter how much we grow, there's still a thread of the past that hangs on. We need a spiritual rescue remedy if we are ever to be free of the clutches of this persistent pain. The compassionate and spiritually powerful nature of Ma Guanyin as the turquoise lotus mother seeks to bless you with karmic healing so that you may be lifted from your struggles and can simply leave them behind you now. Your soul has learned what it needed to from the situation, and it has asked for a divine hand up so that it might continue on its path of growth without unnecessary karmic weight pulling it down. Listen to your guidance now. Notice if you feel inspired to visit a healer or listen repeatedly to particular healing music. Go to a class or meditate at home at a particular time or just more often. These are all attempts by the Divine Mother to reach you through available channels. Divine blessings of karmic healing can flow from the spiritual world directly to your soul, but oftentimes they are more effective when coming through a human channel of a high vibrational level directly into your energy field on the physical plane. Be as open as you can to the guidance to allow the divine karmic healing of the turquoise lotus mother to reach you. Okay. Well, what an amazing divination and super spot on. Each of us has those things that we think in the past, oh, I'm over that. I'm beyond that. Good afternoon, Natalie. Where we think, oh, I'm not mad about that anymore. I'm not sad about that anymore. But on a certain day, if the wind blows the right way, it can kick that dust back up, can't it? And it can leave us feeling like anxious, overwhelmed, feeling scared of whether or not we're ever going to be free. And I certainly know what that feels like, to wonder like, oh, this, trauma loop that's been in place since my childhood, will it ever go away? And I don't know that it actually ever completely goes away, but I do think that we can get better at dealing with it. So I think we should probably count our blessings in terms of our ability to do better than we did before when we come up against a point of trauma or a past pattern that was unhealthy for us. So, like, for example, if in the past it took you 3 months to get over something, and then it went to 3 weeks, and now it's 3 days, you're doing great. If it used to be that when something would happen, you would automatically reach for an unhealthy response, and now you might think about that unhealthy response, but you actually consciously still do something different that's better, healthier, you're doing great. Because at the end of the day, the free will that we have to choose how we will respond to something is the only antidote to the trauma. We can't go back to the past and undo what's been done. There's no way we can go back and rewrite the story that then does somehow magically doesn't include our getting hurt or our going down a shadowy path of some sort. What we can do is to say, okay, but now here's where I'm at. And every time we reiterate, reconfirm that no matter what the past held, no matter what trauma, no matter what pain, no matter what bad habit, no matter what negative pattern was back there, how we are now shows that we learned from that thing. And I would say that getting to a really advanced place in our spiritual practice, and I'm not there yet myself about everything, I am there about some things that I feel like, to where I feel like I can say this. Like, I feel like I can say this from experience, not from like authority or like telling you what to do, but just saying from experience. Like, there are certain things where I can look back and go, thank you, painful event, for changing the shape of my life so that I'm where I am now. Thank you, bad habit, for showing me what the boundaries and limits of my capacity to tolerate certain things is. And I do think that if we get to that point with some of the things, our brain heals a little bit from the trauma. Our brain then shifts its chemical pattern to where we can maybe see that light at the end of the tunnel with the things that aren't healed yet. So I'm not saying like ignore the pain. And I'm not saying get to the point where you're like in like spiritual bypassing, pretending. I'm saying get to the point where you can look at it honestly, levelly, with a certain amount of gravitas in your heart and say to it, I see you. I see you, trauma. I see the hook that you have in my soul. I see that where you used to use the pain of that hook to drag me along behind you, I am now brave enough to go ahead and power forward and rip the hook out, even if it means that I bleed a little bit. I am powerful enough to move forward because I have gotten stronger. And I think that when we're able to do that, it helps the mind relax enough to get to the point where you then can step back into, with sincerity, not with spiritual bypassing, but where you can step back into the Dharma of you, that all of this lacks inherent existence, including us, that all of this is the movie that the great awareness is watching to educate itself, that we have our part in it, that our part in it is to provide the narrative that helps somehow all beings together to realize how very different it could be if each of us chose to heal. So that's our short bit for today. I see a couple folks mentioned that it was relevant to them. Glad that it could help you. Certainly is helpful to me to have the moment to sort of just talk this out today, to remember who I am, to remember that, we're all of us full of this kind of process, and to remember that the turquoise lotus mother is with us. And in fact, whenever I get this card, which is only, couple, maybe once or twice a year, I go and I get a piece of turquoise and I put it on. So I'm going to go do it right now. And then I'm going to do my prostrations and we're going to dive into Guanyin practice. So get ready. And here's my piece of turquoise. And I will share where I got this just quickly. Also, today is Dakini Day, monthly Dakini Day in the Tibetan calendar, and it's the beginning of the preparations for Losar, the Tibetan New Year, in a few days. So that's just also sort of significant to get this divination today. But this piece of turquoise, when I was in Lhasa in 2014, I was walking down the street and this woman came up to me, and it wasn't like she was selling an armload of jewelry or had a table or anything like that. She had this necklace and she was wearing it, and she said to me, "This is for you. Do you want this?" And I was like, you know, not, no, thank you. It's okay. And she was like, "Come on, no, this is for you." And I was like, "I don't think so." And then, basically, like, I walked all around the whole day, like it was gone for hours. And then when I came back through that same market later in the day, she was still there and she saw me again and she came up and she put it around my neck. And when I said, "Fine, like, okay, like, how much do you want for it?" She basically just wanted a donation. And she just felt like this piece of turquoise was something I was supposed to have. And so I had totally like misread the situation, thinking she was like trying to sell something to me, but it wasn't that. It was that actually she just felt like I was supposed to wear it. So I wear this piece of turquoise whenever I get this divination. So just a little background on kind of how this thing all comes together. And now let's take refuge in the Dharma and in all of the aspects of Dharma that help us to be whole. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. I see that the death toll in the earthquake in Turkey and Syria is now over 45,000 people. And I also have been reading and studying up on the numerous train derailments with toxic chemicals leaching into small communities across the country. In the last few days, there have been 4 of them. And I'm also holding today in my heart a number of people who have created great pain in this world and who could turn it around if they wanted to, toward the enlightenment of all beings. And let's recite the 4 immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering to Guan Shi Yin. she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Omahum. 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 Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guanyin, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. 108 recitations of Namo Guanxin Pusa, calling out to the turquoise lotus mother, asking her to lift her lamp and to be present with us in our journeys today. Namo Guanxin Pusa, Namo Guanxin Pusa, Namo Guanxin Pusa, Namo Guanxin Pusa. Namo Guanxin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxin Pusa. Namo Guanxin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxin Pusa. Namo Guanxin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxin Pusa. Namo Guanxin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxin Pusa. Namo Guanxin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxin Pusa. Namo Guanxin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. 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 And the prayer for the money reciter of Kam by Gyaltse Tokme Zangpo. Lama Dankun Shuksum Lakchak Salo Dakni Changchu Ningpor Chike Bar Gangang Gangdu Kepa de Dang Der Tadu Tuje Chempo Chetsin Shing Gusum Gewe Chula Chupar Sho Jamdang Ningje Chempo Kunang Tuje Chempo Duchar Gerpa Nam Lame Chanchu Chola Gope Chir Tuje Chempo Trinle Jepa Sho. Homage to the Guru and Three Jewels. From now until I reach the essence of awakening, no matter where I may be reborn in those places, may I always follow the great compassionate one and dedicate my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Inspired by loving kindness and great compassion, in order to lead all Mahakarunika's followers to supreme and unsurpassable awakening, may I carry out the great compassionate one's activity. Lama Dang Kun Shuksum Lakchak Salo Dakni Chanchup Ningpor Chike Bar Gangang Gangdu Kepa de Dang Der Tadu Tuje Champo Jetsin Shing Gusum Gewe Chula Chipar Sho Jamdang Ningje Champo Kunlang Ne Tuje Champo Dujar Girpanam Lame Chanchu Chola Gope Chir Tuje Champo Trinle Je Par Sho. And 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum, sending out this benevolent energy of Our Lady of the Turquoise Mirror, Our Lady of the Turquoise Lamp, Our Lady of the Turquoise Heart, to all those who need it today. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Swasti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss, Yeshe Wangmo, be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxi Pusa. And we close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher, and wishing everyone a great day of remembering that the really, truly, that we have survived up until now, and that means that we can. And so let's now turn our attention toward thriving. Be back tomorrow.